when you start developing your global campus course, it can be very overwhelming if you're not careful. When I started this process, I was working on U.S. history, which was a 2-semester course, and I found myself bogged down with all of the details and just the large task of this project seemed to be at the time. And not until I really focused on taking this and breaking it into manageable parts did I really start making progress. So the first thing that I would recommend doing is looking at your content and breaking it down into chunks or modules or units or whatever term that you want to use, and then really start the process by backward planning. What's that end creation you want? What types of things are you wanting these kids to create? And then you'll have the structure to start filling things in and seeing these modules come together. And once I got to that point, the process really picked up speed, and I found myself getting units done at a relatively quick pace. And it all had to do with having the infrastructure built to make everything work and look the way I wanted it to. And so then it was just a matter of making small adjustments and making assignments a little bit better. And it went very smoothly from that point on.
There are two things that I think you have to keep in mind when developing an online course. The first one, have everything lead back to modules, and make sure your modules are organized either according to date, by week, or by unit. That will be key in organizing your course. When you're making announcements, you can constantly refer back to your modules. The second thing, do not underestimate the value of highlighting, bolding your directions, making sure they are absolutely clear and extremely specific. Otherwise, you will get a slew of questions that you otherwise could have avoided.
With each module or unit, I had a driving question, and usually incorporated that driving question into the final assessment for each. It's some type of hook. With my discussion questions that I would create, it was again with the idea they would use that information in some way in the final assessment. Whatever final assessment they create, if you can keep that in mind as they're going through it, this is the goal with that final summative assessment that they do. Okay, I want you to do this and this to help prepare you for the final assessment.
I think the biggest thing that you need to do when you first start out is have the big picture in mind. Seeing what you want to accomplish throughout the entire course and just having a broad picture and then narrowing it down from there. So my first steps when I did that is a little bit like backwards design, where you look at the objectives that you need and the different units and chapters. As far as taking that to a global campus or a Canvas creation, I just started out by creating modules first and breaking it up among modules. So if you wanted 5 or 6 modules, you could just start by implementing the structure of your overall campus or global campus design of the page. So putting the modules in first and then going back from there and creating content pages and just creating the skeleton first and not worrying about all the specific details is probably my best advice for you, because that'll start to ease your mind on not having to get everything done from the very get-go and just getting the organization down first.